Adobe Illustrator Classroom in a Book 2014 release, Chapter 3, Section C. Now we're going to draw an ellipse using the ellipse tool to make the next part of the lamp. The ellipse tool can draw perfect circles when you press and hold the Shift key as you draw, or you can draw an ellipse without a modifier key. Click and hold down the mouse button on the rounded rectangle tool in the Tools panel and select the ellipse tool. Choose View, Smart Guides to turn them off. Next, we're going to create a shape with no Smart Guides turned on to see the difference. Over a blank area of the artboard, click and drag down and to the right to draw a circle that isn't really large. Notice that you cannot see the size of the circle in the measurement tooltip because the tooltip is turned off when we turned off the Smart Guides. The green alignment guides aren't showing. The shape isn't snapping to any other content on the artboard. Smart Guides can be useful in certain situations, like when more precision is necessary, and they can be toggled on and off when needed. We're going to pick up the Selection tool, and in the Transform panel, ensure the Constrain Height and Width Proportions is turned off. See, you have that so that it's deselected. And change the width to 1.35 inches and the height to 1.2 inches. Remember, inches will fill in because we set everything to using inches in our panel or in the very beginning that everything we were going to use in this file was going to be in inches. Now we're going to go to View and hide the bounding box, which takes away that outer edge. The bounding box allows you to transform the shape. With it not showing, we can drag the shape by the edge or by an anchor point without transforming it. Now I'm going to need to move this piece that I drew because I drew it too close to the bottom. So I'm just going to pull this up over here and move it out of the way, because next I'm going to go and put my Smart Guides back on. Because I'm going to use them to align the ellipse. I'm going to pick it up by the anchor point that's at the very top and drag it over, and I'm going to align it to the center bottom of the smaller rounded rectangle. And when you show that the lines have crossed and it says connect or intersect rather, we can release the mouse button. The ellipse kind of snaps into place. Don't worry about the position of the rectangle at the bottom because we're going to be moving that later on. Now we'll go back up to View, and again we're going to turn back on the bounding box by selecting Show Bounding Box. Make sure you save so that you don't lose the work you've done. Now we're going to create a triangle using the Polygon tool to finish the lamp. Polygons are drawn from the center by default, which is different from the other tools that we've been working with. So back over to the Ellipse tool, click and hold your mouse, and look and find the Polygon tool. We're going to change the fill color right away instead of drawing and then changing it afterwards. So go to your control panel and select the yellow that we've used before, that is the C5 M0 Y90 K0, and then, whoop, sorry about that, Control Z, I don't want that there. I'm going to deselect first, so I'm going to go to Select, Deselect, oh my, I need to undo that color change. So I'm going to go Edit, Undo, Apply Swatch, and now I'm reselected again, so select, deselect. Now I have to go back up again and pick up that color swatch that I meant to have. Which one was that again? C5. There it is, that first one. Okay, so now I've got that selected, and I'm going to draw a triangle. Let me hit my escape key to get that dialog box closed, and I'm going to start drawing my triangle. Now, by default, the polygon tool draws a six-sided shape, but we only need a triangle. So as you draw, you're going to press the arrow keys. The down arrow keys will decrease the number of sides. The up arrow key will increase it. So someplace over the top of our little drawing we've been making, you're going to drag to the right to begin to draw the polygon. But don't release the mouse button. Keep the mouse button down and press your down arrow once, twice, 3 times to get a nice triangle. Now go, while you're still holding your mouse button down, hold the Shift key, and the Shift key is going to straighten the triangle. We want to drag either to the left or the right with your smart guides to get a width of approximately a half an inch. So mine is hiding behind my transform, so I can't really see what I'm drawing. So I'm going to release that. I came pretty close. I can actually move my transform box out of the way, and if I'd like to, I can go in and I can keep my constrain on, click that, and I can change my width to 0.5, and when I hit tab or enter, it's going to automatically adjust the height to compensate, and I'm going to have the correct size. Then always make sure that you keep your modifier key down until you release your mouse, and that will keep everything even. So now I'm going to pick up my selection tool, and I'm going to drag the triangle until the bottom of the triangle snaps to the top of that rectangle, and should tell me I should get intersect behind it, which I do, and there I know it's lined up. And now I'm going to shrink the height of my triangle down, and I'm going to take it down in height until the height is approximately a little less than a quarter of an inch. 0.22 would be perfect, and there it is. Now I'm going to make it a little bit wider. I'm going to deselect the constrain, and I'm going to actually change the width up to 0.6, which is just slightly over a half an inch, and that should match the width of the rectangle below it. Pretty close. So click off to the side to deselect, and the next thing we're going to do is create some stars to decorate our lampshade. We're going to create that lampshade later, but we're going to do the stars right now. Again, back over this time on the polygon tool and select below that to the star tool. Now, the keyboard modifiers that you use to draw the stars are these. First, there's the arrow keys. You press the up or down arrow to add or remove points, just like we use the up and down arrows to add and remove sides on the polygon. The shift will straighten the star, keep it so that it's square, just like the shift kept the polygon square. or constrained it so that it came out even on the paper or on the artboard. The command on the Mac or the control on the Windows, pressing that key and while you're dragging makes you create a star that allows you to change the radius of the arms of the star, so you can make the arms longer or shorter. If you click and hold, so what we're going to do now is we're going to click and hold down the mouse button. If you haven't done that already, pick up the star tool and position the pointer somewhere above the shapes you've already drawn. We're going to do a few stars just to get this working, and so you can see how to do it. So we're going to click and drag to the right to create the star shape. Notice as you move the pointer, the star changes size, and you can rotate it however you want. Without releasing the mouse button, stop dragging and press the down key. That's going to reduce the number of points on the star by 1. Drag the mouse until you see a width of about a half an inch, 0.5, 0.54, pretty close, 0.5. I'm a little larger than I want it to be, 4948. It's close. That works. And stop dragging and release the mouse button. You can rotate that down a little bit, and maybe you can get a little bit closer. 4.5, 4.9. Nope, it wants to snap over there, so I'm going to go at 4.9, and that's going to be right where I'll leave it. And release. And guess what? We looked at that. We're going to delete it. Click and drag slowly to the right to create the four-sided star. I'm going to drag to a width of a half an inch approximately. I'm going to hold down my control key or command on the Mac, and I'm going to drag until I get a width of 0.65, which I've gone a little bit farther. There it is. What happened with that was that I set the inside of the star, and I'm lengthening the arms. And now I need to release the control key, hold down the shift key, and I want to again drag to a width of 0.8, which increases everything because I'm no longer holding that control key down. And now I have this type of star, and I can release the mouse button and then the shift, and I'll have that same star. The next time you draw a star, it's going to have the same settings. If you want to practice creating another star, try using the keyboard modifiers you've explored. Don't release the mouse button until you're sure that you're finished drawing the star. If you do try a few more, delete them and then select the star you made in this step before moving on. Your star doesn't have to exactly match the stars in the figures. You can just make them however you pretty much want. We're going to change the stroke length of the selected star, so the stroke weight of the selected star to the right of the word stroke. Up here, we're going to change this. Just click down and it disappears, or you can type in 0, and it makes that the stroke disappear. We're going to change the fill color on this star. We're going to pick up the fill and select the orange. And if you want the exact same orange, it's going to be, let's see, cyan 15, magenta yellow, or magenta 100. That's not it first. And then I'm going to escape out of this. I'm going to pick up my selection tool, click on the star, and hold down my Alt button, click and drag to make a second star and place it. And now that one I'm going to go up and make red,